Welcome, guys, to another episode of the Mindset Show. So today we have Mr. Kirk-Anthony Hamilton. This man here is one of the people I've been running down to get on the show. His company, Infiniti Partnership, he's going to speak about it more. And of course, Tech Beach. I'm one of their biggest fans. I was one of the first customers to buy a ticket there, might I say. So, Kirk, take over the floor.
Yeah, man. Well, firstly, thank you for all the energy and enthusiasm around our work. Definitely happy to be on the show. My name is Kirk-Anthony Hamilton. I'm from Kingston, Jamaica. I am a architect turned entrepreneur. We have a couple things that we're involved in, but my overall or overarching brand and company is called the Infiniti Partnership, which is somewhat of a new age investment firm that focuses on being able to bridge the gap between opportunities in the Caribbean with resources from around the rest of the world. And to do so, the way that we have really started to get this going, and where our major focus currently actually lies, is we saw the need to build out an ecosystem in the Caribbean, a new age ecosystem when it comes to business. And our goal with that and thought process was that the Caribbean really needs to have more global counterparts participating in our economic development and activity. And so we took it upon ourselves to work towards bringing those people and organizations and institutions to the ground within a new narrative, right? A narrative that suggests that the Caribbean is not a place for solely, philanthropic and aid dollars, but it is a place for investment. It is a place that is filled with opportunity and, has trailblazers and people that can build successful businesses, but is missing a few pieces to the puzzle in some areas. And if we can fill those gaps, then, we can create massive success for the region.
So basically, you guys are bridges, and bridges that we definitely need, linking us to diaspora, linking us to the valley. You guys have some really, really powerful networks and players across there that you guys are bringing to this here Tech Beach in Jamaica. So if you could highlight, because I know you have Michael Montano, Twitter, the senior director. That's to name a few. You have Monique from 500 Startups. Big companies, Google.
Yeah.
So if you could go into that, tell us more about Tech Beach this year. What are the aims, 10x scale? Tell us about it.
No problem. So one of the things that we pride ourselves on the most, and it's what our brands have garnered their profile from, is really our global network, which we build with significant purpose. So my business partner and I, in May of this year, spent a whole month in San Francisco. And my business partner is Kyle Maloney, who's Trinidadian as well, right? So just to share that we are already bridging the borders and really working towards building out a successful platform for the Caribbean. One of the things that has been surprising for a few folks is that Kyle and I work so closely together and so well together as a Jamaican and a Trini. But, the beautiful thing I think about our generation of entrepreneurs is that we are, we're about making
that.
it.
Yeah,
exactly.
You're beyond that.
We're about making it, and we're looking well beyond the baggage of the past. We're looking well beyond that and just working together. As I told you, I'm actually sitting down right now in Barbados, where we will be hosting something very soon. And it's the same thing. I'm here with my Bayesian brothers and sisters just working together to make something happen. So
I wanna stop you there, because this point is essential. We need to get over the silos. These irrelevant. We will be irrelevant in the grand sphere. We cannot pass the who cares test. So it is beautiful, and collaboration is the only way that this region is going to make it. So
definitely,
thank you for pioneering and highlighting that fact. And you look very comfortable in Barbados. And by the way, anyway, so go ahead.
I love it. I love Barbados. My family used to live here, and I am, this is like a second home to me. But, the same with Trinidad. I love Trinidad. I have great friends in Trinidad. When I'm in Trinidad, I feel like family. So, we're looking past those things. As I mentioned, we pride ourselves on our network. We've intentionally built what is an extremely powerful network of people who have bought into the narrative that I mentioned earlier, that, something different is possible in the Caribbean. and that what is really needed is a new ecosystem. And so we've set out to build that ecosystem. And, you know, I tell everyone, you see that reflected in the summits that we host. So when you come to something like Tech Beach, you will meet power players from around the world, but in an extremely comfortable setting. So one of the things that sets Tech Beach apart from anything else, especially for people in the Caribbean, is this is our home turf. We have the advantage here, right? I pursue these networks all over the world, but one of the things, you know, when you think about tech, the tech space especially, and the challenges that are being faced with diversity and all of these kind of things, there's a simple reality that people have to face, which is that when you hop on a plane and you go to New York or you go to San Francisco or any of these other markets, it is way more challenging to hold someone's attention, especially when you don't know if they are about you.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
One of the things that is certain when you participate in one of our summits is that these people have taken the time to hop on a plane to come to our market, which means one very simple thing. They are definitely about you. They're coming here to find opportunities to mix and mingle, to build relationships and to bridge gaps. And one of the things that I've found, you know, most kind of impressive and just pleasing to us, I mean, we're very fortunate, is the enthusiasm that our conferences are being met with. When people walk away and they're writing me messages, up to this week, our very good friend Lisa from the New York Times, right?
Oh gosh, yes.
Yeah, you know, Lisa wrote to me and was just saying, you know, Kirk, I want to introduce you to someone in the conference space. I tell everybody when I go to conferences that Tech Beach is the best design conference that I've been to. And
it's family oriented, it's community oriented. You feel like you're part of that. I tell you, Lisa and I we met at Haiti Tech, and we were speaking so much and referencing Tech Beach. So you're right. You're absolutely correct.
And we appreciate that, right? To the bottom of my heart. And that's one of the things that I think, you know, I would love to get more people throughout the region just understanding. What we're building is a family. Right? A group of people who are for each other and doing things with each other's success in mind, right? And you mentioned it earlier. You know, the world is much bigger than these small islands that we live in. But one of the things I also say to people all the time is, you know, we have to get over the myth that suggests that the Caribbean is too small for wealth creation. It's not. The top 10 wealthiest nations in the world are not all the profile of the United States and China. In fact, they make up the minority. The large majority of the top 10 wealthiest nations have populations around 7 and 10 million people, right? So the idea that a nation cannot be, you know, wealthy because of the amount of people that live in it is honestly absurd.
You're trying to break a myth ultimately, because that was told to us, huh?
Yes.
Top down. This is where this is all you can be. You know,
exactly. So and for some reason we seemingly have increasingly bought into that.
Oh, absolutely.
And so what we are working to do is to, as you said, dispel that myth. I personally, you know, what I usually say to Caribbean people and people who look on in the Caribbean and make these comments is, you know, what is it that you expect us to do? Am I just to sit back and believe that there is no greater possibility for where I live, and therefore just succumb to the idea that my life should be mediocre? I don't agree with that. And so we have managed to, you know, bridge a gap with a group of global players, sell them on the idea that there is more to this place than has met the eye and than what the media has sold you and such like that. And we've also managed to convince some big media entities to share that story. You know,
I've seen it Huffington Post, Loop. I mean, who else again? You guys have in New York Times, Forbes, exactly.
Yeah,
you know, I'm more than convinced.
And so, you know, we're extremely brand focused as well. Yeah. But from a twofold standpoint, right? On one end, yes, of course, we want to build our brand and get the word out and continue doing well. But, you know, our messaging is all about the region, right? It's all about saying to people that, listen, what you have been told about this region leaves a lot to be desired, and we are showcasing that.
One thing I would ask is that what you're also doing, which is that you're raising the standard as well. Not only the standard for conferences, but also the caliber of techno entrepreneurs?
Not only showcase the best in the region, but to shift the mindset. We also have to get away from this idea sometimes that the Caribbean, all Caribbean people are the problem. You are in the room with a group of people who want to help you to see those things come true. And as you pointed out as well, we are very, curated and careful in terms of our brand, in the sense that we are working to identify the best of the best, right? We are looking for people who are positioning themselves to be global success stories.
Absolutely.
Coming from this region.
Because you're so purposeful, so driven, so focused, when you attend, again, from my own experience, is that it also propels you to even want more. Yes. And the post community, the digital, after that, it also supports the ecosystem, is an offline and online ecosystem. So I would say that it is worth your while to attend.
Very much.
Buy a damn ticket. And also, where is it being held in the hotel again in Jamaica? So
in Jamaica this year, we are at the Iberostar Resort, which is a large all-inclusive resort in Jamaica. One of the biggest values that I think Tech Beach offers is that what we have done is we're taking the infrastructure that already exists in the Caribbean in terms of these all-inclusive resorts, and we're kind of flipping them on their head, and we're utilizing them to a higher purpose. The difference with Tech Beach is there are no distractions. The biggest distraction you have is the beach, right? Point proven in the sense of our other business partner, Finn. I met Finn in Geneva, Switzerland, at the World Economic Forum in a very captured kind of setting. And what basically happened, the way that Tech Beach kind of got its legs, was that in talking to Finn, we ended up spending most of the time just hanging around each other. I've had this idea that I've kind of been sitting on with this Tech Beach retreat thing. Yeah. And his response to me was, let's do it. Let's do it, mate, And then I said to him, if we're going to do it, I have one person I need to call. And that was Kyle. And we just went from there. And, we built this where between you and I, between you and all these people, Kyle and Finn never met until Tech Beach was happening. Shit. But by then, they already felt like there was a brotherhood. Exactly, because we did Skype calls every week. Every Friday we did Skype calls to build this thing. Caribbean entrepreneurs face as a challenge and are missing is simply network, right? Everything is built on relationships. Absolutely. I'll say this, and I always say to people in Jamaica. In Jamaica, we have a thing where people say, links run Jamaica. And that essentially means that, in order for you to get somewhere, you have to know people. But people say it as if it's a bad thing. And the reality is you can change the word links and just say relationships. Relationships run the world. Absolutely. So I always say to people, links run the world. And so what we are really trying to do with Tech Beach and these other platforms is essentially give people links. The most brilliant people in the world are not necessarily the ones who are most successful. The most connected people in the world are the ones who become the most successful. And so you have some extremely successful people in the Caribbean who are simply just very well connected within Trinidad or very well connected within Jamaica. And so, yes, they get the government contracts and they get the this and the banks want to work with them and whatever. Because at the end of the day, if I know I can trust you, then why would I bid my work out to someone else? Why would I give things out to, you know what I mean? So and if you're... Basically what you're saying is your network is equal to your net worth. Yeah. And so that is really what Tech Beach is all about. Despite age, experience gained over, what are your two top lessons you're going to share with the up and comings? It's funny you asked that. I'll probably have to think about the second one, but the first one, I made a post on Facebook today where I said, one of the greatest lessons you end up learning in life is that they cannot stop you. They is whatever impediment you might want to see it as, right? But there's a simple reality. When you are pursuing your entrepreneurial vision and dreams, there will always be people who do not fully understand it, do not see why you're doing it, and don't get your purpose. It doesn't matter how many people tell you no, there will always be people who will end up saying yes. And what that I think does to you over time is that you just start to realize that disappointments are disappointments. You take them as they come and you move right forward and just keep building what you're building, because nobody can in full stop you from doing what you need to do. So that for sure is one of the biggest lessons I would share that I have learned. it's not really about networking. It's all about access. You can walk around that room with these 20,000 people and you can get every single person's business card. But if none of them respond to your emails or your phone calls, then what was the point?
Kirk, I thank you for taking the time today to be on the Mindset Show. And you know what? We mentioned mindset today so much because it is the crux of so much. It really is the foundation for growth, for sustainability, you know? So thanks for taking the time. We appreciate it very, very much. And I would see you in Jamaica in a couple months' time.
November 2nd to December, November 30th to December 2nd in Montego Bay, Jamaica. Our website is techbeach.net, and looking forward to everybody coming and participating. It's going to be a wonderful time. We have definitely upped the ante on what participation is going to look like this year versus even last.